Good morning and welcome to today's pre-market video. Now in today's pre-market video, I'm going to take a look at the Nifty index, at what option buyers should do, what option sellers should do, and how to handle the current news cycle, which is basically all over the place. Now, in yesterday's pre-market video of Bank Nifty, I had said that the next 24 hours would be very volatile, as we have two important things, the US presidential debate and the US CPI. Now both events have passed. The US presidential debate, depending on the channel you're checking or whatever website you're checking, some which are pro-Democrats saying Kamala Harris won the debate, some which are pro-Republican are saying Trump won. So basically this debate has ended up to be an interpretation of your own, as nobody is able to say who won. Some will say that Kamala Harris beat the hell out of Donald Trump. Some will say Donald Trump beat the hell out of Kamala Harris in the debate. So that is a matter which has caused more confusion, and I think that is one of the reasons even the US market has fallen this badly. This is when I record this video the night before, and as of the time when I'm recording the video, the US market has had one hell of a drop, and now most of the people are blaming that drop on the US CPI, but I don't believe that's the case. Now, why I will highlight that. Now, firstly, the US CPI has come in as expected. It is 2.55%. Now, any number below 2.6% was bullish and technically would increase the probability of a 50 BPS rate cut. But now the other argument people come up with is that the core inflation level has risen more than expected. Now, according to me, that is also a good thing. Why? If anyone who has actually done economics in a practical sense, or knows and has studied the previous economic cycles and everything, will know that a 50 BPS rate cut would not be good for the markets. This is, if you look historically, whenever there's been a prolonged session of basically rising rates, then if the first rate cut comes a big one, it usually ends up in the market going up for 1 to 2 weeks, and then one hell of a correction occurs. Look at anyone who wants a referral can go to 2007 and look at how the rates were basically risen in 2007, and then everyone knows what happened in 2008. So that, according to me, the probability of a 50 BPS cut was already only 30%. This core inflation number coming in higher than I think might just drop the probability to 25%. It's not a world of change. And I believe the markets, or the US market, is more reacting to the presidential debate, as nobody can decide whether Kamala Harris won the debate or Trump won the debate, because everybody has a very strong bias in this, whether it's in the US, whether it's in other countries, even in India, the very strong pro-Trump supporters and pro-Kamala Harris supporters. So there's a confusion, and that has confused the hell out of the markets. So now, how will we trade today's Nifty? As all this is now come history. So now, according to me, how the US markets are trading as of now, when I'm recording this video at night, does indicate that we will be having a gap down. Now, before we take a look at what price and what everything is, now, was this being shown in the charts or not? Now, the charts were having one dilemma, as if we look at it. Now, anyone who has been watching my videos for very long knows the significance of these type of candles. This was a high volume bearish bar, and I'd even said in Bank Nifty chart yesterday, it had a similar pattern, that there's a high volume bearish bar that is very significant, and that's the same in the Nifty. Now, where this high volume bearish bar had formed signaled that we would be having a fall. But on the other hand, if we dropped to the, let's say, smaller time frames, or let's say we go to the hourly time frame, we see that even here a high volume bearish bar had formed with basically this as a low, but a 200-day moving average was here. So according to me, yes, this has proven itself, as we will be having a gap down which will go down. But I don't think it's going to be an out of the world fall, because I'm seeing people, especially on social media, linking the Bajaj IPO, which has just happened, that it has locked in so much money that it will not provide people an opportunity to buy stocks if we have a huge fall because of this thing. I don't believe that's going to be the case. We will have a fall, but once I've dropped the levels, we will basically have a normal fall of what we do usually in the Nifty, 1 to 1.5%, which we have had many times. And once we do that, we'll be roughly slightly below this 200-day moving average. And due to us hitting the 200-day moving average, we will end up forming a box range around there, which will basically break both the bulls and the bears. So according to me, a lot of the move has been stolen, will be stolen by the gap down. But now the big question is, how far will we gap down? Now that's when we pop on the levels. And now these levels, me and clients have been using them from days. And now according to me, there are two very significant levels, with number one is 24,750 and number two is 24,600. This is as the scale of the American market has fallen so far, unless there is a correct improvement basically until the close of the for the American market, I do not see this support of 24,850 doing much. But I've still kept it there because we have not yet opened and we do not know whether we are going to gap down and by what margin. We're having a probability, yes, there's a huge probability of a gap down. So according to me, if we have a gap down, we'll either be landing at 24,750, and if we break that and go down slightly below this, then we'll most likely have a straight dip to 24,600. Basically, so what I am saying is an option buyer, if we break 24,750, then it will be a shorting opportunity until 24,600. By chance that breaks, then we'll be going down to 24,450. And why I'm not really worried about this fall, because of only one reason. Number one, if we look at it, a fall from here to here will be only 2%. 2% fall we have had in the Nifty many times. It's not been something which is the end of the world. Plus, I believe if we have a drop towards 24,450 or 24,600, this will be an opportunity to pick up a lot of stocks, for not for long term or medium term, but for short term, because whether people say 25 basis points, whether people say 50 basis points, a rate cut is coming, and it is definitely coming. So if it's 25 BPS, the market will still rejoice. If it's 50 BPS, the market will still rejoice. So according to me, any fall towards 24,600 and 24,450 is a chance to basically not start accumulating in the index, but on the Nifty 50 stocks to start some short-term accumulation for just a jump to about 20th to 22nd September. Because 17th, 18th, the rates will be released, and basically a slow up move will start. Then it will pump up for 1-2 days, and then book profits and get out of the market, as most of the Nifty 50 stocks are not worth it right now, depending on the chart. This is, as I said, a simple pump and dump which is coming, which is being created by the Fed. So now, as an option buyer, I said my trading plan, if we gap down, 24,750 breaks, then we'll be going to 24,600. By chance that breaks, then 24,450. 24,600 is a very strong support, so do not, once we reach there, if we reach there, do not take it lightly and think that it will just crack at the snap of finger. It will have to basically form a small base there, then have a fall, unless we were to gap down directly to 24,600. Then it wouldn't be able to form a base. Now, as an option seller, what am I going to do? Now, my plan is pretty clear, anyone who's been watching this video so far. Now, I have said that I expect either this support to hold or this support to hold. So, any down move towards this support, when I see a base forming here, or when I see a base forming here, I will end up selling puts first, not calls. Most would expect that I would go and sell calls first, but if we have a bounce, I don't want to be in any call position. So tomorrow, I will not probably enter right at open, but I will wait for us to gap down. If we break 24,750, then to go towards 24,600, which is highly likely. And if we start forming a base here, then I will sell call puts below here. Even if we break 24,600 and we go to 24,450, I will still probably go and sell puts of below 24,600. So either 24,600 and below or 24,550 and below. So these two are most likely going to be my put sells which I'm going to enter. Once I've entered those, in the latter part of the day is when I plan to enter call sells of basically 24,900 or 20 if I'm being aggressive and above. If I'm being cautious, 25k and above. This is as that was sort of going. Now people will ask, if it falls to 24,450, why will I sell calls or below 24,600? Why are you selling in the money? Well, the reason I'm selling in the money, anyone who trades the Nifty or the Bank Nifty from a long time knows that whether hook or crook, you can have small spikes towards the end of the day. But let's say we closes at, let's say, 24,480, most likely 24,600, the option sellers will either make full profit because it will close at 0, or it might close at 8-9 rupees. Still will be a very good profit because it will be an ITM option. So the decay, it will have decayed from something like 100 to 8-9. So that's a killer amount of premium. Yes, there is a higher risk of spikes there. So if you're going to trade without stops, which are going to guard your profit, then that is basically an issue which is with the trading style but not with the market. As we know, the Indian market has two main risks: brokers going down and uncontrollable spikes, which then lead to, again, brokers going down. So provided you take these two into account, I believe put sales tomorrow will also make very good money, more better money than call sales. And so I'll be entering put sales when we reach one of those supports. Then in the latter part of the day, I'll be entering call sales as I had highlighted. So that's my trading plan I've shared for option buying earlier and now for option selling. Any questions, you can drop them in the comment box or WhatsApp them to the number shared below in the description box. And do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the notification bell. Thank you.